Hi guys! I am Tony! Hello well, hello well.
Now count backward from 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
What comes after 4?
2.
Keep concentrating. Just relax. Just concentrate and make your mind a blank. Okay, relax. Please, take this seriously. Relax and have a good time.
Yeah, man, relax and have a good time. Move my microphone a little bit closer. How's everybody hanging? Hope everybody's Christmas was wonderful. Sorry about the early stream there. Was still uploading a video for tomorrow and didn't want to interrupt it because I feared I might forget to restart it afterwards, so I just let it finish, and here I am. For the benefit of the VOD viewers, I'm talking until people join into the chat. You guys are probably used to me rambling for no reason. Welcome both Alexes. Yeah, as I was just mentioning, I was uploading my Warcraft video for tomorrow, and I didn't feel like interrupting it. What was I doing? Oh, yes.
You're trying to hypnotize me.
You know, of course, that my organization operates outside the bounds of Confederate law. That's why they spread their lies and misinformation. If you decide to accept our help, you'll be branded as an outlaw too. But it's a chance to save those people. Time to make a stand, Magistrate.
Hey, that's a good unit response. Time to make a stand, Magistrate.
Stand. Just stand.
At the count of 3, you will awaken and remember nothing. You will have no memories of these.
So we're doing the Mengsk unit responses. I do not plan on working on 3v1 Omega today, so we'll have to work on something else after these.
Good day, Magistrate. My name is Arcturus Mengsk, and I represent the Sons of Korhal. You're familiar with the Confederate propaganda surrounding my group, but your reputation suggests you'll see past it. It's never been our practice to operate in any one place for long, but these Zerg don't look like they're going to wait. I'm going to make you an offer, Magistrate. I'd like to help you out by sending down a number of transports to your colony and evacuating any survivors. I'm going to make you an offer. I'm going to make you an offer. I'm going to make you an offer.
That's a pretty weak line, but I'll keep it in case we can't find anything else.
I want you to raid this colony's Confederate outpost and retrieve whatever design or weapons schematics that you can find in their networks. With the chaos of the Confederates' evacuation, you shouldn't have any trouble getting in or out of. Commander, Mar Sara is almost completely... Commander. Mar Sara, the Confederates are abandoning the planet, and so are we. However, there is one thing I'd like to do.
What's up, Poop Thrower? Welcome to the stream! How was everybody's Christmas?
Believe it. I saw Zerg within Confederate holding pens myself. Believe it.
What's up, Christian Peterson? Welcome to the stream! How was your Christmas?
Believe it.
A wholesome Christmas. I sort of had that.
You and Captain Rayner have done well, Commander. I believe our efforts have weakened the Confederacy's grip on the fringe worlds.
Yeah, every time somebody joins the stream and messages for the first time, I have to flip out a little bit.
But our job out here isn't done yet. Our job out here isn't done yet. Our job out here isn't done yet. Lieutenant Kerrigan, my second in command, will elaborate.
Grandma's black beans and rice. Sounds pretty yummy.
It will be your job, Commander, to free this colony and show our good intent to the Antican. Lieutenant Kerrigan will help you deal with Duke's office. The rest of the Confederates are yours to deal with.
Working on an endless task? Yeah, trying to make stuff happen. Oh, there's a lot of Mengsk lines here. Should be able to find something.
Don't worry, Jim. He's our snake now. You've made the right choice.
We can take this one easy. Oops. I'm gonna have to add the battlecruiser post-processing to the other lines.
Jim, I want you to move in and save that base. Our job out here is...
Oops.
A general without an army. I'm offering you a position in my cabinet, not just some backwater post. Test my patience.
There we go.
Don't test my patience. I'm giving you a choice. You can return to the Confederacy and lose, or you can join us and help save our entire race from being overrun by the Zerg. I don't think it's a difficult decision.
We might be able to use... I'm giving you a choice.
Enough. I'll handle this. I'll handle this. The Confederacy has fallen. Its colonies, the Zerg, are... What would have happened here? I'll handle this.
There we go. Now we're talking, boys. Yeah, just creating a sound set for the heroes that don't have them already. I've done Stukov, Dugall, and Rashagal, so there's Mengsk and Aldaris, and I think then everybody's done. So I'll try and do both of those today.
I'm not asking you to like it. I'm asking you to do it.
I actually could use this line as a piss line, but I don't know. Might be too on the nose.
Listen, I know Duke's a cold-hearted bastard, but an entire colony shouldn't have to suffer for that. Besides, a Confederate general could prove to be a powerful ally. This is an opportunity we cannot miss. Our job out here isn't done yet. Time to make a stand. I'm gonna make you an offer, Magistrate.
Oops.
An offer. I'm
Forgot to fix that.
gonna make you an offer. Commander, believe it. This is an opportunity we cannot miss. I'm not asking you to like it. I'll handle this. Don't.
Hey guys, closer by the way. Jesus fucking Christ. What is up with these fancy schmancy sounds that just... songs rather, that just repeat themselves over and over again? Insanity.
She's right. Save it for the Zerg. I think your plan's a wild one, Jim, but it's worth a try. Lieutenant Kerrigan?
Might be able to use that one.
Very well then.
There we go.
Commander, you have tactical authority. Captain Rayner and General Duke will... Opportunity we can't believe it. You've made the right choice. I'll handle this. Save it for the Zerg.
Save it for the Zerg is a good piss line, in my opinion. Yeah, so this big file that I keep pasting stuff into is the master file that I'll basically edit them in the same way so that they all sound relatively the same. That way I don't have to worry about the individual unit responses sounding like they were recorded in different environments. Like, for Rayner, some of his lines have Vulture background, and some of his lines have Marine backgrounds, and some of his lines have no backgrounds, and that's just because he's speaking in different contexts throughout the campaign. So the same is true for Mengsk. Sometimes he's in his battlecruiser, other times he's not. So I have to sort of add the battlecruiser sound effects because I can't take them out of the lines. So I've got to add battlecruiser sound effects to all lines, which makes it so that they're not as general purpose as they could be. Like if somebody wanted to make a campaign where Mengsk was like a Marine or something and it had battlecruiser background sounds, that's kind of shitty. But at least it's consistent, and that way I can also edit them all so that if I add in like a filter to make them sound like it's coming over a radio, then it's, which I will do, that typically will affect the whole sound file instead of having to do it piece by piece. It makes things consistent, and it makes things a lot easier to edit in general. So let's add these lines in. No, these are from the base game. So this is standard StarCraft. I'm just taking them from the campaign lines and turning them into unit responses because Mengsk doesn't have any by default.
We will do whatever it takes to save humanity. Our responsibility is too great to do any less. It takes to save. Takes. Just takes. We will do whatever it takes.
Oh, that must have been a while ago. For Inconsummate, I had a couple of voice actors.
You've made the... I'm not... I know you have personal feelings about this, but you can't let your past carry out your orders, Lieutenant.
If carry out your orders wasn't so close to Lieutenant, I'd probably be able to use that.
Just as they destroyed Core Hall with nuclear weapons to establish dominance a generation ago, they would use the Zerg to put an end to their other rivals. Only this time there'd be no outrage. Who could suspect the aliens were their No. They'd be lauded as heroes for coming in and destroying the Zerg. It's time the Confederacy paid for its crimes. And I know just the way. Lieutenant Kerrigan is going to plant an and I know just bitter at the Confederate base camp. Commander, you will provide her with an escort. When the Zerg arrive, they'll break the blockade for us and we'll make our escape.
Hey, Jack Smith. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping in. Hope you had a good Christmas. Happy New Year's.
Now, get moving. Don't leave it. Miss. Very well, then. Get moving. Well, then. I'll handle this. We will do whatever it takes.
Thanks, man. I'll try and add some timestamps. I always forget to do that.
I'm saying the Zerg are a secret weapon developed by the Confederacy. I'm saying you were all subjects of a Confederate weapons test. The Confederacy used these psi emitters to lure the Zerg into isolated containment areas. Your colony, Mar-Sara Commander, was one such location. Greetings. I know you're all concerned about the Confederate strike force. But first, we have a grave matter to discuss. It seems our data disks didn't hold weapon designs after all. Lieutenant Kerrigan will explain. Done yet. Time to make us.
Yeah, greetings is a good option, I'd say. Oh, you mean when you're, I know what you're talking about, Mr. Peterson. I'm a little hopped up on G Fuel right now, so I'll probably be a little bit faster than otherwise. I've also, just in general, I've been listening to some music, but mostly just like podcasts and stuff. I've been listening to it at 2 times the normal speed, and slowly, I started at 1.5 times, and that was really fast for me. But then eventually I was able to do 2 times. And now anytime I listen to something at normal speed, it sounds like everybody's drunk and talking really fucking slowly. Even myself, to some extent, when I go back and watch my other videos at normal speed, I'm like, no, I gotta speed this up. Yeah, I've used this program for probably like a few years.
I have thought it through. Believe me. You all have your orders.
Oh, this is a good line. I can take 2 of them from here.
Very well, then. Get moving. Leave it. You all have your orders. Carry them out.
Might be able to use that. As an... I'll trim the fat and find out what can be cut and what should be kept afterwards. We'll do like a community poll. I should probably save this file. Mengsk.
I did, Lieutenant. The time of our final strike against the Confederacy is close at hand. Before we can strike at Tarsonis itself, however, we must break through the Confederacy's most potent defenses. General Duke will brief you.
Yeah, I ordered myself some new speakers, and the same thing happened. The Windows almost shattered. For some reason, they were cranked up to max. I don't know why people do that out of the box.
The time of our final strike against the Confederacy is close. time of our final strike is close at hand. The time of it is... Strike is close at... The time of our final strike is close at hand.
Hey, UAD Commander, how's it hanging? Hope you had a good Christmas.
I'm giving you a...
Welcome to the stream. Woo-hoo. Yeah, I'm pretty much, I probably have more than enough for everything right now.
I have thought it through.
Oh, yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Commander, you've demonstrated exemplary skills thus far. You will spearhead our invasion. Take your force straight to New Gettysburg and establish control over the area. We stand now upon the very threshold of victory over the Confederacy. The only thing that can save them now is if we falter in our resolution. And we are not going to falter.
What a lot. We are not going to falter.
Victory over the... Victory... We stand now upon the very threshold of victory.
Well, I think it fades out a little bit too soon.
The victory. Victory. The victory.
Maybe with some background effects that'll sound better. I'll test it out and then I can use it there. What do I have copied?
You will...
Oh, here we go.
Our job...
That's a what line if I use it. See you later, Christian Peterson. Thanks for stopping in. Have a happy new year.
We stand now upon the... It's done. Helmsman, signal the fleet and take us out of orbit. Now! I have. It's done. Now! Now! All ships prepare to move away from Tarsonis on my mark. Belay that order. We're moving out.
So many lines I could use, holy shit.
We're moving out.
No.
Stay cool, Commander. Remember the plan. The Zerg are to remain unharmed. Remember the plan. Remember the plan.
He's got so many lines already.
I have absolute confidence in Kerrigan's ability to hold off the Protoss. If they engage the Zerg, the Confederate Commander, send Lieutenant Kerrigan with a strike force to engage the Protoss. Captain Rayner and General Duke will stay behind with the command ship.
It still doesn't make any sense why he does that. What a dumb line. Could have said anything else. Could have said, everybody else has to do something else.
You'll regret that. You don't seem to realize my situation here. I will not be stopped. Not by you, or the Confederates, or the Protoss, or anyone. I will rule this sector, or see it burnt to ashes around me. If you try to get in my way, you'll regret that. Don't seem to realize... You're making a terrible mistake. Don't even think to cross me. I have sacrificed too much to let this fall apart. Gentlemen, you've done very well. But remember that we've still got the seeds of a new empire have been sown. And if we hope to reap...
If we hope to re... Who doesn't hope to re... Does Mengsk have lines in the other two campaigns? I don't think so. Oops, that's wrong.
You wouldn't dare. My thanks to you, sir. But you must know that your victory here means little to me. It might have taken me a while, but I did overthrow the Confederacy. I'll overthrow your rule as well. This is Emperor Mengsk of the Terran Dominion. I wish to parley with your executive officer at once. Jim Raynor. What the hell are you doing here?
I typically don't like lines that are like responses that literally just say the person's name, so I probably won't use that one, but it's delivered in a pretty pleasing manner. Easy on the ears. Like, it really cringes me out of control when I hear, "I am Neandra." Like, who gives a fuck? I can read your goddamn name by clicking on you. Retarded. Nothing in here. Yeah, I think that was the only time he had a speaking role in that particular mission.
I see that you're still a persuasive speaker. All right, Kerrigan. I'll lend you some emitters, but this had better be worth it. This had better be worth it. This had better be worth it. This had better...
Okay, yeah. I was trying to fucking... I love when that happens. Where I accidentally play the same line over and over again.
We're moving out. That's reassuring. You all have your orders. What is the meaning of this, Kerrigan? What is the meaning of this? The meaning of this? Okay. Don't test my patience. Not long enough. Why have I been brought here? Why? And what are you offering me in return? I'm giving you a choice. Made the right choice.
Yeah, that "why" might be a good what line.
A tempting offer. What assurances do I have of you fulfilling your end of the bargain?
There's so many lines I could use, man. There's so many. I could make like an arrogant Mengsk pack where he goes, a tempting offer, when you order him around. It's ridiculous.
If you ask me, she's completely untrustworthy. But so long as she'll...
Oh yeah, I remember that line. And then Raynor goes,
"Shut up, Arcturus."
Don't be snide, Kerrigan. This was part of the deal, remember? I've earned this.
"Ooh, I've earned this."
I am Emperor of the Dominion again. I'll be sending General Duke to establish my base of operations in Augustgrad. Have thought it through.
I have something very important to say to you, please. I think he wants to be heard. That's all.
We've discussed this plan 100 times. Commence the damn attack. Don't test my patience.
Oh boy, a phone call.
Then let's waste no time. Let's waste no time. Let's waste no time. And let's waste no time. And let's waste no time.
Yes. Andrew White. That's right.
Every moment we sit here means that the UED's defenses will be that much stronger, and I want nothing to stand between us and the retaking of my... You all don't test my...
What sort of parts do you play?
Killers, mostly.
Kerrigan, you murdering bitch. We had a deal. But you said revenge. Congratulations, Kerrigan. You've beaten me again. Just remember that I'll be out there, waiting for you to slip up, because sooner or later you'll make a mistake. The Protoss, too. Care to take a guess as to who the Third Fleet is?
Look, is this a game?
This is a real game. The real game has just begun.
That. Three fleets? I called in a few favors, made a few concessions. You'd be surprised to see how many special interest groups in this sector. You sound worried, Kerrigan. Have I caught you at a bad time? Have I caught you at... Have I caught you...
For an intimate chat with a hairdresser.
I'm not a hairdresser!
My wife is mine. She belongs to me.
You all have your...
I'm her husband.
Have I caught... Our fight...
Jesus fucking Christ. Alright. Back. What am I doing?
This is Emperor Mengsk of the Terran Dominion. Remember the plan. We stand now upon the very threshold of victory. You will spearhead our invasion.
Yeah, I don't think the "you will spearhead our invasion" line is gonna make it.
Hold of victory.
Don't like that.
Our
one. It's
job
too
out
long.
here isn't done yet. Greetings. Time to make a stand. I'm gonna make you an offer. Commander, this is an opportunity we cannot miss. I know just the way. Very well then. Get moving. Believe it. I have thought it through. I've earned this. It's done. Now!
I don't know. There's a lot of good ones for yes lines.
We're moving out. This had better be worth it. You all have your orders. Carry them out. That's reassuring.
Wow, that's really loud.
You've made the right choice. And what are you offering me in return? A tempting offer. I'll handle this. We will do whatever it takes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We will do whatever it takes. I'm not asking you to like it. Let's waste no time. I'll handle this. A tempting offer. You've made the right choice. This had better be worth it. We're moving out. Now! I've earned this. Believe it. Very well then. It's done. Now! We're moving out. This had better be worth it. A tempting offer. I'll handle this. Let's waste no time. Don't test my patience. Commence the damn attack. What is the meaning of this? I'm giving you a choice. Save it for the Zerg. The time of our final strike is close at hand. You'll regret that.
Why does he laugh?
Have I caught you at a bad time?
Okay. Well, I've sort of finalized it in a sense.
This is Emperor Mengsk of the Terran Dominion.
Alright, we don't need that one.
Remember the plan. Our job out here isn't done yet. Greetings. Time to make a stand. Commander, this is an opportunity we cannot miss. I know just the way.
So we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines here.
Greetings. Time to make a stand. Done yet.
I don't think we need this one.
Remember the plan. Greetings. Time to make a stand. Commander, this is an opportunity we cannot miss. I know just the way. Very well then. Believe it. I've earned this. It's done.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is good. So let's separate.
An opportunity just to greeting for the plan.
Let's separate the lines that need to be edited with the background effects from the lines that do not.
Believe it. I've earned this. It's done. Now. Moving out. This had better. I'll handle this. Let's waste no time. Test my attack. What is the meaning of... Save it for the Zerg. You'll regret that.
Okay. Now I get to open up my... What the fuck? That's not it. Don't say that.
Greetings. Commander, this is an opportunity we cannot miss. I know just.
Alright, well. Here's the point where I mute that music for a moment.
Greetings. Greetings. Time to make a stand. Commander, this is an opportunity we cannot miss. I know just the way. Very well then. Save it for the Zerg. You'll regret that.
Okay.
Time to make us. This is an opportunity. I know just. Save it for. Greeting. Very well then. Believe it.
Did we have very well then? Did I do that?
Just the. Very well then. Save it for the Zerg.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
Very. Greetings. Time to remember the plan. Greetings. Time to make a stand. This is an opportunity we cannot miss. I know just the way. Very well then. Believe it.
Okay. Now.
Very well then.
Need this line.
Let's waste no time. Don't test. This had better be worth it. We're moving out. Now! I'll handle this. Let's waste no time. Don't.
What is it?
Save it for the.
Oh.
Save it.
What's this line?
You'll regret that.
Oh. Okay. Now we get to do the fun little audio balancing that I love so much.
Remember the plan. Greetings. Time to make a stand. Commander, this is an opportunity we cannot miss. I know just the way. Very well then. Believe it. I've earned this. It's done. Now! We're moving out. This had better be worth it. I'll handle this. Let's waste no time. Don't test. Let's waste no time. Don't test my patience. Commence the damn attack. What is the meaning of this? Save it for the Zerg. You'll regret that.
Okay. Now we get to do the export process. My other favorite part. For this I can turn the music back on.
This is an I know just. It's done. Now! We're moving out. This had better be worth it. I'll handle this.
Let's waste no time.
Don't test my patience. Commence the damn attack. What is the meaning of this? Save it for the Zerg. You'll regret that.
Alright, Mengsk is done. I hope so. That would be fucking funny. Why would anybody use the vanilla editor? Also, there's a crash associated with placing a geyser? That seems pretty shit.
Unfortunately, he disregarded his orders and attempted to destroy the Zerg while sparing the Terrans from the flame. Clearly, Tassadar has failed us. You must not. Entaro Adun, Executor. I am Judicator Aldaris. I have been sent by the Conclave to serve and counsel you. The former Executor, Tassadar, was commanded to halt the Zerg by burning the infested human worlds. Rest in the Terrans. Entaro. The Conclave has dictated that our first priority is to strengthen our defenses. You must reinforce our out and make certain that the province does not fall to the Zerg. Your old comrade, Praetor Phoenix, will meet you there and assist you in this endeavor. The Conclave has dictated.
I kind of want to use that, but there's no way to make it sound like not awkward as fuck. So.
I pray we can trust you, Tassadar. Trust you, you. Already I can sense the taint of the Fallen One's influence on your mind. You must return to Aya at once. Consorting with the Fallen One, Tassadar. Where? Entaro Adun. Your defense of Antioch has restored my faith in the Templar. I admit that Tassadar's desire Adun. I pray we can trust you. You. Praetor, you must hold your position for as long as possible. Fight on, brave Phoenix, and know that the gods watch over you. Entaro Adun. Executor, we shall lead our main strike force to the province of Sion, which has fallen to the Zerg. It's time the Zerg felt the wrath of the Sons of Aya. Praetor Phoenix will remain here with a small detachment and guard Antioch from any further assaults. It is as I feared. It was folly to believe Tassadar could be trusted. The Conclave will not soon forget his wanton betrayal. Nevertheless, we must stand resolute. We must stand resolute. We must. For attacking defenseless Cerebrates is not the way of true Protoss warriors. We shall overcome the entire swarm with the might and the fury that is our heritage.
Fight on is said too close to Brave Phoenix, so I can't really use it.
Unthinkable. You presume that we would side with the Dark Ones as you have? You have gone quite mad, Tassadar. Amusing. Tassadar, your taste in companions grows ever more inexplicable. Executor, prepare to take Tassadar into custody. We must stand resolute. Amusing. Who is this human, Tassadar? I have come to arrest you and bring you home to Aya to stand. Tassadar claimed that this world was abandoned by the Zerg just prior to the invasion of Aya. Yet I still sense a lingering darkness here. Be prepared for anything, Executor. If there are still Zerg on this world, then they must surely know of our arrival. Be prepared for anything, Executor. I pray we can trust you. If he is allowed to spread the Dark Templar's tainted influence to Ire, all will be lost.
Hey, Roughflesh, welcome to the stream. Hope your Christmas was a wonderful one.
We will find him and bring him to judgment. We Judicator are called to look beyond such matters, to ensure the safety and future of our people. Called to are called to ensure the safety and future of are called to ensure the safety and future of our people. It is not the Zerg, but the rogue Tassadar, who represents the greatest threat to us now. Executor, I know that you were reluctant to leave Ire in this dark, and that you still grieve for the loss of your comrade, Phoenix. But remember that he lived and he has reached the Kala's end. There is no greater glory than that.
Oh, sounds like it was a good Christmas.
Glory than glory. Glory than glory. Glory. No greater glory. There is no greater glory than that. Amusing. You were warned, Executor. The Conclave will not be pleased. Unthinkable. We Judicator. You were warned, Executor. The same Cerebrates which you told us to destroy. Your advice was useless, for the creature was reincarnated before our eyes. For the Ah, Tassadar, have you fallen so far? To think that you were our brightest hope, our most beloved son. Now you are everything that we are not. You are lost to us. Not only have you damned yourself, but you have damned those who have followed you. We Judicator are called to ensure the safety and future of our people. Executor, by following Tassadar and attempting to rescue the Dark Templar, you have openly defied the will of the Conclave. Abandon this mad scheme now, and the Conclave may show you mercy.
He's got a lot of piss lines, but not really a lot of any other lines, unfortunately.
You have openly defied the will of the Conclave.
Raise your right hand, raise your right
Teleportation.
Oh, that's not Ed. I thought that was Aldaris. I was lied to.
Tassadar of the Templar, by your actions you have severed yourself from the mercy of your brethren. You refuse to destroy the Terran worlds. You have questioned time and time the sacred will of the Conclave. And you have abandoned your home world in its darkest hour. Most grievous of all is that you have allied yourself with the blasphemous Dark Ones and learned to utilize their profane powers in tandem with our own. What say you, O fallen Templar? We shall see. What could you possibly know about our designs, blasphemer? I will not be addressed so by one so devoid of the Kala's light. You and your vile brethren shall die with these traitors. I expected you to attempt to retrieve your hero. You will learn that the will of the Conclave is absolute. Make peace with Adun.
Oh, that's a good one. For attack or something.
And Taro.
What do I have right now?
We shall see.
It's a little fucking loud. Holy shit.
We shall. Thinkable. Amusing. There is no great. Make peace. You will learn that the will of the Conclave is absolute. The will of the Conclave is... The will of the Conclave is absolute. The will of the Executor, Tassadar, this comes too late to you, but the Conclave has witnessed. They know now that they cannot deny the necessity. We sought to punish you, while it was we who were in error. You represent, and all our hopes go. Entaro Adun, brave sons of Ire.
Less fitting than I expected. Let's hope for some better lines in Brood War.
We shall see. We shall see. You are right, of course. Executor, Zeratul shall find us passage to the warp gate. After the gate has been secured, Phoenix and the new Praetor Artanis shall lead our surviving brethren to Shakuras. Make peace with Adun. The will of the Conclave. You are right, of course. Your people. We would be seen as tyrants to them. Why would they? With all due respect, Zeratul, the Protoss do not run from their enemies. Ire is our homeworld. Executor, it is as I feared. We must stand resolute. Greetings, Executor. Though we must find the resolve to carry on. He sacrificed himself to destroy the Overmind, but many Zerg still without the Conclave to... It seems we must fend for ourselves. It seems we must fend. Be prepared for anything. It seems we must fend for ourselves.
I like this little jam they got going on here. Ow! Fucking Scourge. Fucking Scourge won't let up! We can't even lift our buildings off with all them bogeys in the air. Doesn't Aldaris have a line here? Ah! Seriously?
Fear. There is no...
Executor? Yeah.
Farewell, then.
I like it. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, Rainer. Yeah. There we go.
Then we should strike now, while the Zerg still muster. We should strike now. But Matriarch, the Zerg who have followed us here are unlike any enemy the Protoss have ever known. This is laughable. Do you truly expect us to believe that your intentions here are honorable? That these... We should strike now. Now. We should strike now. Entaro Adun, Executor. It is as I feared. Entaro Adun. Dune. This is laugh. And Executor, you were warned, Executor. I pray we can trust you. This is laughable.
His editing is completely different across the two campaigns. So that's fantastic.
She lies. She is infested to the core. I, for one, will not listen to any of this. Unthinkable. I, for one, will not listen to any of this. You can no longer afford to be so naive, Artanis. While you were securing the crystals, I discovered that your matriarch has been harboring a dark secret. She has been manipulated by this... I would sooner die, Dark One, than tarnish the memory of Ire by joining with you. Your fate was sealed the moment your matriarch allied herself with the Queen of Blades. Those of us still loyal to Ire will never be slaves to Kerrigan and her broods. Yet again, Executor, you destroy only a simulacrum of myself. You believe me to be a traitor, but it is you and the matriarch who will usher our race to oblivion. You didn't think I'd be caught so easily, did you, Executor? You have only destroyed a phantom.
Well, let's see what we got so far, because I think that's everything.
We should strike now. Antaro Adun. It is as I feared. The Protoss do not run from their enemies. We must stand resolute. Be prepared for anything, Executor. It seems we must fend for ourselves. Amusing. We shall see. Make peace with Adun. You are right, of course. The will of the Conclave is absolute. There is no greater glory than that. I pray we can trust you. This is laughable. Unthinkable. I, for one, will not listen to any of this. You were warned, Executor. You are lost to us. You have openly defied the will of the Conclave. What say you, O fallen Templar? We judicate. It seems we must fend for...
All right. Now...
We should strike now. Antaro Adun. It is as I feared. The Protoss do not run from their enemies. We must stand resolute. Be prepared for anything, Executor. It seems we must fend for ourselves. We should strike now. Antaro Adun. It is as I feared. The Protoss do not run from their enemies. We must stand resolute. Be...
No, that didn't really do anything.
We should strike now. Antaro Adun. It is as I feared. The Protoss do not run from their enemies. We must stand resolute. Be prepared for anything, Executor. It seems we must fend for ourselves. Amusing. We shall see. Make peace with Adun. You are right, of course. Make peace with Adun. You are right, of course. The will of the Conclave is absolute. I pray we can...
Okay. Now then.
Antaro Adun. It is as I feared. The Protoss do not run from their enemies. We must stand resolute. Be prepared for anything, Executor. It seems we must fend for ourselves. Amusing. We shall see. Make peace with Adun. You are right, of course. The will of the Conclave is absolute. I pray we can trust you. This is laughable. Unthinkable. I, for one, will not listen to any of this. You were warned, Executor. You are lost to us. You have openly defied the will of the Conclave.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Oops, wrong one. What is it opening? Shouldn't be opening anything. What the fuck would it be opening? I closed audition. There's nothing else that's open. Whatever. What is it opening? Am I mentally ill? What the fuck is... What is it opening? Just says another program. That's not very fucking helpful, man. Oops, that's on. Oh, well, there's a million audition instances open. That's probably why. Amazing. Wasn't Windows 10's fault at all. Okay. Well, we spent an hour and a half, basically, putting together unit responses. And like I said earlier, I don't feel like doing 3v1 Omega, so what are we doing next? For me to do the Insurrection Marine, I would have to find out all of the maps that had them. I wouldn't have the sound files on hand. I'd have to extract all of the unit responses. Jesus Christ, that would be miserable. Why would I have it handy? For what reason would I have extracted all of the unit response or sound transmission files from Insurrection's campaign? Yes, and you guys are into Insurrection, and I'm not. I have no desire to play Insurrection. I also have never played the goddamn campaign before. I have no idea which maps have Marine lines and which don't. I sure as shit ain't gonna look through all those maps. Yeah, might as well do the Evil Nerazim, I suppose. I'm liking this beat. It's a good shit. Too bad it's only 20 minutes long. Not even 20 minutes long. Yeah, with 10,000 HP fire bats. No thanks. Alright, I am going to go get some water real quick. When I return, I suppose we'll do the something related to Divergence, which is the working title for that Evil Nerazim campaign. I also have to swap out some laundry and stuff, so I'll be like about 2 minutes. Yep, that's 10,000. I return! I don't like the base campaign anyways. Listen, if you didn't like the original campaign of StarCraft 1, you probably wouldn't like a version that just changed a few things. You know? Well, there's plenty. There's probably the same amount of reasons actually to not play the original. Yes, but I'll put it to you this way: There's many things I could be doing with my time. In no way does Insurrection qualify as one that is a worthwhile experience to have in my book. Guys, I'll show you my my page. This is what it looks like, right? I make about $4 a month on YouTube. So, to think that 1/4 of that would come from playing Insurrection, first of all, is a laughably small amount of money compared to what it should be. And second of all, there's no way. There's no way it would even equal to $1. That's a very generous estimation. Speaking of which, I should probably check my AdSense. Fucking Christ. I actually, if I got that $4.06 now sent to me now, I would be able to cash out. I'm at 95.55 or 95, or yeah, 95.95. I think. 96. I don't know, something. Anyways, the point is, I can't cash out until I have a little bit more money. Then that'll pay for part of my rent. Fucking dumb. Wait, what? How do I have this much money left? I thought I had like $100. I have double that. A chuckle a day keeps the doctor away? If that were the case, I would never be sick. Because I spend at least half of my days laughing. Usually ironically. Wow, I'm getting a headache. I'll ruin me liver with bullets. All right. What are we doing? That Divergence shit. Oh wait, this is the busted version. Oh no, did I fix it? Yeah, I did. False flag operation. Oh, this is actually O2. Nerazim even. I had already written the AI for this mission, but the problem is the AI won't accept new pylon structures for power, I don't think. And they also won't accept new gas harvesting structures. So it's pretty shitty. I have to have somebody look into deep into the assembly for that. But they build the new units fine, as expected. I don't remember. I should have left notes as to where I was for. They harvest resources with the new worker as well. Perfectly fine, actually. It's pretty crazy. But I have no idea where I was on this map. Or the mod in general. I didn't really look too deep into it. I know for the third map, I had started on it. Looks alright. Then I remember this one. This was the Jay Barino campaign idea, where it was going to be 2-player on 1.16.1, and Jay and Deltron were going to play it on stream or whatever. It was pretty funny. Pretty good idea, actually. IMO. If I worked on and off on this project, I could probably make a decently long campaign and maybe have it ready for them by next Christmas, this coming Christmas. Christmas 2018. And they could play it as a Christmas present or something. It's for these two YouTubers that you probably know about them. I think you commented on Jay Barino's videos before. It's Jay Barino and Deltron Live. I was going to make a campaign where they would play it, it would be 2 players, so they'd play it cooperatively. And then the final mission was like the big reveal where Deltron revealed that he was behind all of the bad stuff that was happening. And then Jay Barino was like, fuck. And then they had to fight each other. It went from a cooperative campaign to like a 1v1 scenario at the end for the final mission. Yeah, you're right. That was the beginning where I was just playing the flash action maps. Flash games. That is true. That is a real thing that happened. Oh yeah, I even have these notes. Oh yeah, and Devour's Children's Brood would appear. And the brood was called Devour's Bad Stuff. What the fuck? Toddareem and Tsunami's TSA. I forget what TSA stood for. It wasn't Transportation, whatever the fuck Alliance, or whatever TSA normally stands for. Okay. Jay converts enemies to skeletons and buffs allies with Showcase. Deltron debuffs enemies with balance feedback. Minerals are J-Bucks, Vespine is good stuff. And then I was just gonna do like modifications to the tech tree. Oh yeah, and then I had Jay Barrino's portrait. Could you imagine his reaction to him being in the game as a portrait? That would be fucking hilarious. I'll probably have to download that long thing where that they had like an hour-long Comic-Con? Was it Comic-Con? It was some sort of convention that they went to. The DPS podcast did a live stream from them. Yeah, Ray Barrino, Jim Ray Barrino. I don't know, something. I don't fucking remember. Oh man, that's funny. I like that idea. Custom campaign for StarCraft 1. Yeah, just have him say that. Oh my god. Alright, anyways, what was I doing? I was gonna do Divergence, but then I lost motivation immediately upon looking at it. Should I make a Warcraft 3 project? Would that be breaking the rules? Am I only allowed to make StarCraft 1 stuff on this stream? What would I even do for Flash action? I wouldn't even know where to begin. Why? He didn't already have an Archimon? Archimon didn't already have a voice set, rather? Holy shit. I'm not tired, but that really sounded like I was losing my mind. Wow! My fucking jaw needs some smoochies. From another man. What am I doing? What do I want to do? I guess I can open up my Amazing. Ah! Holy shit! What is wrong with Blizzard? Don't you ever fucking speak to me again, you cretin. You're done. Okay. Well, that was retarded. Well, once you learn the StarCraft 2 editor, it's a lot easier to do anything with it. Anyways, this is a Warcraft 3 project that I was working on a long time ago, like a month ago. I didn't get super far with it, obviously. I was trying to set up like a basic idea for the areas. Figure out what I was going to do with some of the terrain and some of the options. Yeah. So what happened is I was in the middle of designing a new setting. I didn't want anything to do with Blizzard's own setting, because Blizzard's setting for Warcraft is the most most of the new stuff they added in is really uninspired with Warcraft 3, but in general it's so fucking confusing because they retcon some stuff and then not all stuff. Basically Warcraft 3 is to Warcraft what StarCraft 2 is to StarCraft. And my understanding has never been complete, and I'm not going to buy 10 billion books to understand everything or try to fucking piecemeal what is canon and what isn't. It would feel like trying to interpret the Bible or something. It's really just insanity. So I decided to design my own setting, my own universe. And I basically am going to use the engine of Warcraft 3 to describe that universe and put stuff in. Hey CR12, welcome to the stream. How was your fucking Christmas? Also, Happy New Year. Well, that's the thing is, if you just ignore what's happening in the main story and the main canon, you can probably get pretty far with Warcraft's story. You just have to pretend that the rest of it doesn't exist. And in some cases, well, just basically not be afraid to contradict it. Yeah, that's what I heard about that with World of Warcraft, that it was just a real confusing mess. And that's what I already thought it was with Warcraft 3, so I had no interest in pursuing it further than that. But what I will say is that I think the engine can be used for settings that aren't Warcraft 3. Like, a lot of people saw, what the fuck was that campaign that Jay Marino was playing for the longest time? It was like, it had 3 different campaigns. Legends of not Acheron. Arcane. So Legends of Arcane was a campaign series that had... Yeah, everybody's saying Arcane after I already said it. I already found it out, you guys! Ha! I win! Anyways, Arcane, yeah. That one. That one had basically the same fucking setting, because it didn't really change that much from what I looked into it. I think maybe the Undead campaign had the most actual story from what little I saw. But in general, it didn't really change much. But it's sort of similar to what I'm doing in the sense that it has like its own goings-on, its own power struggles and dynamics, and the races are very similar, but the overall like setting is completely different. Like the characters are different. I make a real good peon impression. Ready to work. Yeah, there is stream delay. There's more stream delay than there has been historically, I think. I gotta figure that one out. I probably can't change that right now, but... Oh no, it says ultra low latency. And then added delay none. I don't know. But, my fantasy universe had some completely different things. Like, I recorded some logs about it, and I think I wrote in some of the factions in player properties. Maybe it was... Yeah. Okay, so... Well, this doesn't really explain it very well. So basically, the big human power, or like... Yeah, it really was humans. Like, there were humans, and there probably would be like elves or something, or, you know, dwarves, like the standard token fantasy races that were similar to humans and generally were on good terms with humans, right? That had like this... It was a pretty large governing power in the continent that the project was going to take place into. And the idea behind it was that its military would be split up into separate orders, and the orders would specialize in specific threats. So, I can't remember if Laroth was supposed to be the name of the overarching human faction, the big human faction, or if it was supposed to be a specific order. I think the Order of Laroth is Paladins, and then I was going to change that later on. So basically, Order of Laroth, I'm pretty sure, is like their order of Paladins that come in and basically fight any black magic or undead or anything like necromancy, anything like that. They counter that specifically. So you, as the undead in this campaign, were going to be fighting them primarily, but obviously wanted to avoid them because they basically had units within their military, because the military would... Individual orders of the military would actually have different tech trees. So the Order of Laroth could build units that, say, the Order of the Witchers couldn't, but the Order of the... and vice versa. So the Order of the Witchers would be, like, specialized against bestial, like, monster hunting, and the Order of Laroth would be, like, really good against against necromancers, because they have paladins and stuff like that. So there's going to be, like, an order of orc slayers. I would have, like, a fancy name for them, and those would be specializing against fighting orcs, and all sorts of stuff like that. So as you played throughout the campaign, you'd be introduced to the different races, or different, like, sub-factions and tech trees and orders of the military. And if you fought against one of them, you would basically start to learn, like, their strengths and weaknesses. But the ones that were the most scary as an undead player would always be the Order of Laroth. Those would be the paladins that would fuck with you. Then you have... your faction were servants of this undeath god, basically, this god of undeath named Nulkoth. And Nulkoth is, like, basically characterized as a force of nature. So it's not something that can be negotiated with. It doesn't make allegiances. It really doesn't seem to have a consciousness necessarily. It mostly just it doesn't really care about anything besides destroying everything that lives and bringing it into its domain of undeath. So I was probably going to have some weird system for magic that was more like... I've always liked the idea of magic as an entity, or like not an entity, that's a bad way of phrasing it. I always liked the idea of magic as something very integral to the way life exists. Like, in the Star Wars franchise, everybody knows after the prequels came in, and they had that science stuff about the midichlorians, and how the Force was supposed to be this, like, scientific element of existence. And I actually don't mind that explanation as well. A lot of people were like, oh, it takes away the fantasy of it. But I think it's just a scientific explanation for what it is. And the Force exists within every being, and it just exists to different concentrations, or certain beings have a gene within them that can, like, manipulate it better, or something like that. And to me, that was what I always kind of wanted the magic to be, in a similar sense. Like, I always thought that was more compelling than just having inexplicable, unexplained rules for how these reality-bending attributes of existence could exist and behaved. You know, I never liked not being able to explain it, to some degree, scientifically, even though it's fantasy. It's not sci-fi. So I basically wanted magic to be consistent internally, so it has its own set of rules, even if you don't explain those rules precisely to the player in like some really long tooltip or with really clunky dialogue at the beginning of the project. One would eventually come to find that like beasts would have magic affinities, even if they couldn't speak. They didn't have like high IQ, or they didn't have brains that were developed the same as like a sentient being was. They might still be able to wield magic. They might still be able to cast really arcane spells that humans and other adaptable sentient bipedal creatures or whatever, maybe those humans wouldn't even be able to cast those spells, or they would need years and years of training. But these beasts here just have a natural affinity for that sort of magic. You know, they're like, magic is sort of like it's like blood or oxygen, or it's like a necessity for everything to survive. And then that was basically how I would have it be like a part of the biological apparatus of how any living creature exists. Sort of like carbon-based life forms. Like, basically everything is magic-based. It's just like one element that allows you to exist in this universe. And then you'd get like these really, really crazy outliers that maybe had no magic, or were like these weird pariahs, like biological pariahs that would just exist despite magic. And those would be like, elements of them would be used in some capacity to construct like anti-magic barriers and stuff like this. People would be literally harvesting their, like, for lack of a better term, essence, in order to create like a sword that is anti-magic. But every creature and every warrior, from like the most learned mage and wizened scholar down to the most brutish orc thug, would be able to wield magic in some form. It's just that some magic would just strengthen your muscles and make you inhumanly strong. So, like a warrior, a more brutish physical fighter, would probably have some sort of bloodlust or enrage spell or like avatar-like thing that would make them temporarily not immune to magic, but give them increased hit points, make them size them increasingly. And then other more like subtle warriors or whatever, they'd have access to things like taunt. They'd have like some sort of mind-bending type mood-enhancing or influencing spells, where they'd be able to like enfeeble a warrior or cripple them or something like that to do some sort of mental magic. And I had this whole idea devised where it would explain how give blessings of adorableness. There's like basically different ways which all creatures can impact the sphere of or like the universe based on how magical they are, or whatever the case may be. So you measure magic in the same way that you would measure somebody's like blood type or somebody's IQ, maybe, you know, something like that. It doesn't really have to be really scientifical, but I wanted the rules to be consistent. I didn't want anything that if the player found out about something that they didn't already know about, at best, basically they would come into contact with a new rule, not some sort of weird, bizarre exception. Like, I didn't want it to be like Harry Potter in that sense, where things don't seem to play by the same rules as they did in the last book or something like that. You know, I didn't want new campaigns or new maps or new units to introduce things that clashed with old concepts. So yeah, I mean, elemental systems definitely works because you think of it as like an evolutionary adaptation. Creatures channeled their magical energies basically to evolve some way to survive really harsh climates. And, you know, maybe some fish can swim through lava because they happen to be magical. And then those fish can be like harvested by, you know, lava fishers or whatever can grab those fish from the lava and then extract some sort of like scale. Their scales can have some sort of fire protecting alchemical function or something like that. You know, you can use them in as a crafting mechanism, something like that. You know, in my dream of dreams, what I would wind up doing is creating like an ARPG or something in this setting and fully visualizing it and realizing it. But in the meantime, I can at least use it as the basis for a Warcraft 3 project. But what wound up happening with this particular project, to sum it up, is that I thought, okay, this is a campaign that I'd... with the setting being as expansive as it became, it would make more sense for me to tell the story, like the story that I was going to tell in this particular project called Anthelion. Anthelion's progress, or as a story, would basically end, or like its various acts would progress the story towards Nullkoth, like basically coming into existence in the plane or whatever, and some sort of cataclysmic event. You'd think like Arrival of Burning Legion or something like that, you know? I guess you could draw a parallel to like summoning Amon's host form on Ire. Like something like that that's really, really impactful to the story, like very cataclysmic. And obviously nobody wants that. But I thought to myself, like, yeah, that makes some sense to do, but it would also make a bit more sense, I think, to like fit that in as the end of the story. Like make that the final campaign in a series of campaigns. So when I was working on this, I was like, well, there's no way I can't realistically finish this when I'm in the middle of trying to develop this larger setting and all that shit. So I decided that I'd probably have like a human-focused campaign, or I want to start out with a campaign that doesn't start out with humans, purely for the purpose of not having to run that cliche, basically. Because I definitely think there's a bit of a cliche related to how many campaigns start off with the human campaign. You know, like you think of Warcraft 3 itself did it. But I also think that that's a pretty weak excuse to do something, just to not be the same as anybody else. So if I find like the most compelling way to start the story and tell the story, the right way to tell the story, if you will, is to actually do that, then that's probably what I'll do. But we're talking about stuff that's way far away from me even realistically attempting it, given how busy I'm going to be. But yeah, there you go. Humans are pretty relatable, but I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way is all. Look at this fucking rabbit. Fuck that rabbit. Anyways. I think it's probably just a crutch for maybe lazy writing or poor writing. I still think that the characters in Inconsummate were probably fairly relatable, though. I think most of the characters I write are fairly relatable. Like, Strawlium's probably an exception, but Strawlium isn't designed to be relatable. He's actually more of a... Strawlium's more of a plot device in the first couple of missions. Like, you think of it as an acquisition. You know, you are acquiring the services of the magnate. You know, that's what happens in the first mission of Inconsummate. Well, thanks. I think that it's unfortunate that, in a way, that Goska was as integral to the plot as he wound up being. Because I think he's got a compelling story and a compelling character. But I think it probably would have been a more interesting experience from a story writing perspective had I designed a campaign without any human or formerly human characters taking center stage. I think that would have been a strength of a campaign had I designed it in that way. So, I don't know. I've always enjoyed working with non-standard characters. Like, I have some seriously interesting Terran-focused campaign ideas, but I don't know. Something about the alien races calls to me in a different way, I guess. Anyways, see you later, Hoop Thrower. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good Happy New Year. Have a good Happy New Year. Anime versus police. Yeah, I was working on that mod earlier. I guess I can show what I have for that. It's mostly graphical, though. It might be a little broken. Oops, I forgot to test that. Does that still crash? Oh yeah, it does. Fook. Oh well. There are quite a lot of graphics for this one. Ah! What the fuck? What is it with these goddamn maps with everything being really loud? Map editors, rather. Okay, thanks. You're fucking wonderful. Unbelievable. Enabling sound by default should be a fucking crime punishable by being fired with a gun. That's all I'll say on that. Oops. I guess I never fucking loaded this version up. Oops, that's not what I did. Alright, whatever. Yeah, the most of the graphics come from a couple of StarCraft clones from back in the day. So the Terrans are being replaced by the police faction, and then eventually I'll get graphics for the Zerg and replace those with the anime faction, with such units as the Overlord being called an anime Dragon Ball. And then the Broodling is a 9-gag spammer, the Hydralisk is a fan fiction editor, Zergling is a 9-gag subscriber. I think the colonies have also all been called bundles. I'm pretty sure is what I had them going as. The creep colony is the otaku's bundle because it can cosplay as anything. It can cosplay as 2 other bundles, and then this one is the schoolgirls bundle, the sunken colony. And I forget what. I think the sport colony is an edgeling or something. I don't remember. This is the 9-gag server is the spawning pool. Hydrosten is like editor's lounge. I think this is the Dragon Ball something. Dragon Ball station apparently. I don't know. Anime image board. Fanfiction reader. Those are the drones. The retcon orifice. Oh yeah, my fanfiction about the retcon orifice was that it retcons the unit positions, which is why I can teleport them around. What a dumb idea. Yeah, there's all sorts of weird stuff though. And then there were, there's going to be all sorts of stuff. Like, I already have a script written for this mission in particular. This is for my brother's birthday. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, oops. The way it's going to work out, probably, is that I don't know, I think the way that I'm planning on introducing some of the new mechanics is probably pretty solid. I've really evolved the way that I write dialogue. I think has changed a lot, and for the better, for sure. Jesus Christ. There we go. I've been able to make the dialogue a lot more succinct. Like, one thing that I think was a big error with Inconsummate, that its dialogue was generally speaking too long. The opening of the map, the opening of the campaign stands out to me. I think the briefing was pretty decent in terms of its pacing, but in general, the Goska introduction could have been a lot more succinct, and I think would have been a lot better had it been succinct. Like, he just talks too fucking long, basically. He goes on and on and on. Edit is not allowed. There's a couple other moments that I think probably were too long. I don't know, in general, I feel like the campaign could have been served by having quicker scenes in general. That's something I've always struggled with, though. I used to be a lot worse. And I'm glad I saw some real growth when I was writing it, looking back at Inconsummate scripts. So I'm glad that I've been able to come from where I was, which was really, really way too long. A lot of people, I feel like it's weird because a lot of people have a different problem. They write too little and they're almost too minimalist. Like, they don't give the player enough information. I gave the player the right amount of useful information and then had way too much useless or less useful information. Like, I always like to look at a line now, a line of dialogue that I've written. Or when I sit down to write a line of dialogue in general, what I like to do is I like to decide, what does the player need to know? What do I need to tell the player? What should I inform them of? What is the information that they need to know? And I figure out how to write that. and I usually iterate on it a few times until it feels like a proper line of dialogue. And when it does, you know, I let it sit, and sometimes I'll have to come back to it and make sure that, you know, it's still the appropriate length or whatever, but in general, I think that's a pretty good practice to do. Figure out, like, what do you need to communicate to the player? And if you can figure that out, it's usually pretty easy to then audit your lines of dialogue based on what you need to say, and like, oh, what did I say here that wasn't necessary? And if you can do that, you're you're pretty golden, I would say. Whoops. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick because I drank too much water. Wow, what is happening in my back? Cops are driving by. Car alarms are going off. I don't even know if you guys can hear that stuff. Probably. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, I mean, as long as you... I think one of the most important things you can do, actually, is try stuff out for the first time. The problem is, I think in this modern day and age, a lot of people lose interest in stuff based on insecurity. I don't know, you guys can tell me what you think of this premise. But I feel like the modern individual, especially the modern millennial, with how we're brought up, we're taught that we can do anything we want as long as we put our mind to it. And we're taught that we're really special people and everything about us is wonderful and yada, 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 the whole spiel, right? So we actually wind up growing up with huge self-esteem issues because we never really work hard to realize all those things that we're told. And when we enter into a passion or some sort of creative project that we want to pursue, or anything that demands a certain amount of discipline from us, I think we wind up getting a little fucked up. We never turn into self-actualized individuals. And because every time we find something that challenges us, we don't stick with it until we've conquered that challenge. Generally speaking, these are all generalizations, obviously. A lot of people I meet have self-esteem issues one way or another. A lot of people I mean, don't really look at what they're good at as genuine strengths. Like, I'm this way in a way where I feel like if I ever accomplish something, or like if I ever talk about something that I have, I'll feel like I'm bragging. You know, like if I ever talk about myself in positive terms. And I don't think that's true. Like, I don't think it's the right thing to say about yourself, you know? I think if you're gonna do anything like that, if you're gonna have a strength, right, you have to acknowledge that you have strengths if you want to make them better, if you want to hone your craft. So if people generally want to do stuff like that, they really ought to respect themselves more. But anyway, to finish my point about, like, not becoming self-actualized, not ever, like, mastering something, losing interest because you think that whatever you're working on, your work isn't good enough. Like, I think learning an instrument is a pretty good example. You're not going to be good unless you have, like, weird talent, like latent talent that you never realized until you started working on it. You're never going to be good at something from the get-go. You're going to need to learn to be good. You have to grind at it, and that's how you're going to do it. But a lot of people, they're like, oh, what if somebody found out that I'm this bad? Or, you know, whatever. Like, they'll just feel insecure for whatever reason. At least that's as far as I can do. Well, I would... See, I have worked on StarCraft campaigns. If I want to get real technical about it, I have worked on campaigns and, like, working within the engine of StarCraft 1 for forever, basically. Like, since the game came out. Maybe since 1996. I think that's probably when I first opened the StarCraft map editor and did more than close the program immediately afterwards. But for however long, well, we could say at least, I could comfortably say more than 10 years of StarCraft 1 map making experience. And I at no point thought, oh, it would be really good to make money doing this. Or, like, not... Obviously, I thought, wow, it would be awesome if I could get paid. But I never thought that that was a reality. A lot of people think that it's really important to be paid for hard work. And I agree. But you gotta weigh that against how realistic that goal is. And it's not very realistic at all. For something like what we're doing, you know? You get some rare oddities of people who, like, start a fucking GoFundMe page or something, or try to crowdfund some project, but it's in scenes that are way more active than this that you'll find that, you know? Oh yeah, I meant 2 years after. I was thinking 1994 because that was the year I was born. So 2000. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was 6 years old when I started working on maps. And they were all shit, predictably. Actually, let me see something. I might have them. I might have some of the first maps I've ever worked on. It doesn't tell you when it was created. Or modified. Last modified, yeah. Oh, I'm using the wrong fucking profile. This was my first campaign map. That, well, not the first one, but part of the first campaign I ever released publicly. Yeah, I just... Sorry, Bailiff, I got sidetracked. As predictable. What has to be, like, what has value? Value is all subjective, right? Because obviously we think value is subjective as people. Because some people will think that Twilight is a really good story, or StarCraft 2 is a really good story, or, you know, some people won't. We don't agree on everything. Yeah, it's good terrain, I think. I don't think I had a single map that had Yep, it's all just flat terrain. Hey, I found doodads. What the fuck? Yep, all 5 maps for flat terrain. Oh man, but yeah, I don't think anything you do, nothing you do has to have like some sort of monetary reward in order to be valuable. The way I've always looked at life in Western culture, Western civilization, is that you have to find some way to balance what really makes you personally complete person, like a self-actualized individual, whatever buzzword you want to throw out there. Whatever satisfies you on a personal level and keeps you happy and not suicidal, like basically doesn't make you you just know when something is worth living, right? Like when a life is worth living. And if you don't feel like you're satisfied with your current life, then you figure out what's wrong and how to change it. But that's like a completely different sort of rabbit hole to jump down. But I think it's important to recognize that you have to balance work, which is stuff that you do in order to pay your bills and to keep you aloft and facilitate whatever lifestyle you want to lead. And then that will also facilitate the free time that you have to work on what's personally fulfilling and gratifying. So you've got to balance personal fulfillment with the ability to chase that personal fulfillment and to have that pursuit of happiness. And that's usually work for monetary gain, which facilitates the pursuit of happiness, and then whatever creative thing you want to pursue it. For some people, that creative pursuit that I'm talking about doesn't really exist, and it's mostly just they want to get ahead in life for monetary gain or something. And I'm not going to shit talk that kind of lifestyle. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. You know, what actualizes you as a person is going to be different for every person. Always. As far as I can tell. So I would just say, if you are ever confronted with the idea that you should not pursue a certain passion when you feel it is a passion because it won't make you money, or somebody else boasts that, I think you can readily disregard that, because monetary gain isn't going to be all it's chopped up to be, you know? That's not where I derive my meaning anyways. Maybe it will be. I mean, for some people, seeing those numbers go up in their bank account is actually really rewarding. And if that's your thing, then absolutely go for it. Find some way to make that number bigger faster. And a lot of times that's where their creative juices flow. They find creative ways to get ahead in that regard. I don't personally find... I find that to be work that I have to do, not that I want to do. Whereas StarCraft map making and stuff, that's work that I want to do. So, like, it's really awkward because the best life advice that anybody can give somebody, I think, is unless they really know the person, the best life advice I would find is always like the most general use life advice. You have to really know somebody on a personal level in order to give them valuable advice that's not general purpose, the valuable specific advice. It's just the way it works because we're all different people. It's like weight loss advice. Like, our genetics are all different. We're all adapted to take slightly different variances of whatever nutrient or whatever component of whatever we eat. So some people... It's like how some people are lactose intolerant. Well, some people don't take the same amount of usable materials from, like, meat, for example, than other people. I guess it really is very similar to lactose intolerance. Some people have a different level of capability of taking useful nutrients from certain foods, which is why vegan diets, for example, work for some people and they don't work for others. You know? But the same can be said for anything that's about, like, happiness or anything like that. Alright. Well, it's almost 10:30 and I still haven't really done anything since I stopped making those unit responses. That's a big haha. Where did I leave off with this? I should probably open that test map. So I still don't have a factory, a refinery, nuke silo. What did I have for graphics for this? Yeah, the Broodling's borrowing is broken right now. I'm not sure why. What kind of person is Masked Imposter anyways? Telling me not to suck. Oh yeah, there will absolutely be significant gameplay differences. I just haven't hooked up a lot of the mod data yet. I have like a whole spreadsheet on this.
Anime vs. Police, or AVP for short, is a comedic total conversion for StarCraft Brood War. It replaces the Terrans with the Police and the Protoss with the Animes, and uses some Zerg units and structures to extend the tech tree of the two new races. Additionally, it implements a new resource mechanic and changes the flow of gameplay, putting an emphasis on longer matches and thoughtful execution of build orders and tech acquisition, while sidelining some of the micro-focus of Brood War. AVP's races have different unit archetypes and tech trees from their vanilla counterparts and play very differently in a vacuum, lending to specialized strategies and unique playstyles depending on which race you play as and which tech options you wish to utilize.
I have not tested River of Blood yet. I'll probably make a video on it pretty soon. Bilxor, whatever is that? Is it Bilxor or Blixor? I think it's Bilxor. Bilxor sent me his Map 5 of Life Force, which I have to make a private video for him at some point too.
Resources are scarce in this post-anime world and must be protected at all costs. Workers smelt ore from fault lines in a lengthy mining process before returning them to their hub, while key structures are built upon artifacts in order to provide brain power.
So basically artifacts replace Vespene geysers, and it's sort of similar to like the Dawn of War control point system, except you harvest mineral field. Fault lines are basically mineral fields, so there's not really much of a difference there besides the fact that the mining time takes a lot longer. But artifacts are like control points or relics or whatever the fuck was going on in Dawn of War 1, and you build basically sort of like listening posts on top of them, and they provide you with your secondary resource over time, as like automatic refineries would in StarCraft 2. And you can upgrade those structures, sort of like you upgrade listening posts, to provide like more HP and faster resource gathering rate. But they are heavy investments in order to do as much. And they only provide you with the second power source, with second resource, brain power, as opposed to in Dawn of War. I'm pretty sure that relics provided you with like both or something like that. But I don't really remember. Control points sometimes provided you with both things, whereas at least in Dawn of War 3, control points provide you with both resources. In this, the artifacts only provide you with like the brain power. However, brain power is, generally speaking, pretty small. Like, it takes a long time for you to get, like, one brain power from one of these relic artifact structures. And as a result, like, brain power costs are pretty light. Like, it takes 20 brain power to get one of the best infantry units. And then the really powerful vehicle units are incredibly powerful, but they cost a huge amount of brain power. So it's a very different system of resources. And there's like an upgrade that you can get that will enable your supply depots to be a resource drop-off point. That's going to take some finagling. Why does everybody like putting Ka versus Dailolly? It must be because they face opposite ends of each other, so it looks like they're facing off. They're squaring off. I don't know how I'm going to add the helicopter rotors. It's going to be dumb. SVC, by the way.
Fucking broodlings. I wonder what that would even be as a result of. Let's investigate that. I don't think it would have anything to do with the amount of frames. It doesn't even get to the first frame. Why does the drone has to lift off ice script? That's funny. Oh, hey Balethal, you didn't miss much. I'm just trying to figure out the crash related to broodlings. They come out of eggs fine now. Wait, what the hell is Broodling Special State 2? What does it exist for? I guess it just exists. Probably some retarded hard-coded behavior. Alright, well, one way I can try and compare this is if I open up a second iScript instance and... where is it? I'll have to go and find the... Oops. iScript.bin for this. Oops, that's the wrong one. So I added one frame here. There's nothing else? That's it. That's the only difference, is that I added a frame. Oh, wait. Yeah, 154. I have no idea. So does this have the extra? No. Yeah, that wouldn't have made a difference anyways. I mean, I can add it in to be safe, but there's no reason why I would. Because it doesn't even get to the first frame, so... Yeah, borrow's fine.
Must be related to some data then. It's the only thing I can think of. Some data file somewhere is fucked up. Oops, wrong one. Oh yeah, I forgot the fucking preview is broken. Ooh, excuse me. Fuck. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty cool idea. There actually is sort of unrelated, but it reminds me of an idea that I had a while ago, back when I was first working on Inconsummate. I was sort of triggered that I couldn't make the briefing screen portraits face a certain direction. So if, for example, the only slot left was 3 or 4, and I had a portrait that faced the right, I always wanted to make them face the left. So I had this insane idea to take every portrait that I had in the briefing screen that I was ever going to use in a briefing and create a copy of it that was flipped horizontally and then put it into the game, replacing a different portrait with it. I was actually going to do that. I was going to consider doing that just to have it for the fucking briefings. That's like such a such a small thing that I would seek to do, but I am still a little upset that I didn't change the dropship portrait briefing. She only has 1 line, but it's in the first mission and she is in slot 3. I said to myself I was going to do that just to have it face the other direction for that one scene, since it was the only time you ever see a dropship portrait. So I could just replace the original one. But yeah, I was just going to do that just to have the portraits face one another. It's so ridiculous. I used to be really anal about stuff. You have to wonder why Inconsummate... I've worked with Brood War as an engine for fucking over a decade, and Inconsummate is my first campaign ever released. You wonder why that is? It's because I used to get real fucking anal about specific things. And then if I could never fix it, or didn't have a reasonable way to fix it that didn't involve an insane amount of work, I would just abandon the project outright. Be like, well, I guess I can't do this project now. Yeah, because can't make something as foolish as not being able to make portraits face each other. That would bother me to no end. And ironically, it was only after I completed a project, or it was in the middle of working on Inconsummate, funnily enough, that I went ahead and requisitioned help from everybody to design the most absurd amount of customizations to the engine. Like, during Inconsummate, I had 3 different tool developers come together and update 3 programs and make 2 new ones, just so that I could have my custom... all of my custom doodads into the game. And then after Inconsumate's release, I had Nave create 3 new plugins for AI. Or 4 new plugins for AI. That's just insane to me. It's like the amount of customization I've forced upon this engine Well, it's funny because, like, these customizations, if there wasn't need for them or demand for them, they probably never would have made it out. You know, nobody ever would have done it. So it's funny that I was the catalyst for it. Like, I don't mind taking credit for that. That's one area where I don't mind having some pride. Now I just have to hope that somebody else will. Either I will make ample use of all these things, or somebody else will. I know Necron's going to make use of the AI stuff, but if... hopefully, I'm just hopeful that it works, basically. Because I certainly wouldn't have the tools, the skills, or the patience to make them myself. So I'm glad that Knave is around to make most of them. Yeah, that's the thing, is it does mean that resources exist for other people. I do want them to be able to enjoy those fruits. Like, I look back at how easy it is. I look at how easy it is now to edit tile sets, right? Like, I'll go and open up PyTile. And then find this. Right? Like, I look at this, and now you can just do this, or what is it, right click? You can, like, fill all the height with a different one just by, well, if it would ever accept anything. Hold on. I've broken it, probably. While trying to show all of the benefits of it, but... Is it broken? Oh yeah, there it is. So I would like... You can just right-click on this stuff. Like, I've had this particular tool updated a lot so that you could do all that stuff really easily. But before, I had to click on each individual subtile and change its properties one by one by one. And it was so obnoxious. And I had to do that like at least 10 times for Inconsummate's terrain. I didn't have to, but I did do it. So... And because of Inconsummate, the framework mod exists, where it has all of those, like, custom, what was it? The custom tech or work animations for the buildings. Yeah, well... Go figure. That painter that I was right-clicking on didn't used to exist. It was, here, I actually have the old one. Oh, this isn't even it. This is the interface that I used to use. I'm worried about even opening anything in it because it usually just corrupted everything that I opened. This is the other thing, is even after you do all that extra work, you try to open something, and it just breaks. It just corrupts the file that you're working with half the time. So ridiculous. Unbelievable. I can't even open something to show you it, but yes. It was very frustrating. Anyways, I'm glad they exist for people. But yeah. Sorry, I fell asleep reading Discord chat. Oops. This music is putting me the fuck to bed. I need to get some real banging shit on. You need to silence yourself. Okay, if I go to YouTube, why does it tell me that I'm streaming while I'm browsing YouTube? What a disaster. Alright, let me see if I have anything on my computer for banging shit. This is probably pretty good. Ah! Sorry. Hold on. How does it manage to be so goddamn loud at 2% volume? Is this audible for you guys? Can you hear it? It might just be my headphones. A language? Yeah, that's that usually works out actually. You'd be surprised. Oh wait, I have the folder open. What was, call it Aldaris, or whatever the fuck the Dawn of War name was. I remember playing Dawn of War 2, and I think I had that, I was playing multiplayer with my brother, and the Plague Marine for Chaos had, like, some ability that allowed you to, like, raise dead, sort of like in Warcraft 3. And I remember I did that against some Imperial Guards enemies, and it just made a bunch of Imperial Guards, and they constantly said whenever they were attacked, every single one of them was like, the Acadians want to test us, the Acadians want to test us, the Acadians want to test, non-stop until they died. I was so fucking infuriated by it. It's like reasons to not use the ability. Necron 5. Yeah, except you should make it a planet that has been absorbed by the void, so you can't go there anymore. Necron Void. I like that. Yes. How did you make your map? Cocaine. That's funny. You know what I really wish is that Dawn of War in general had custom campaigns. Maybe the first game does. But I would love an excuse to do Warhammer 40,000 voice acting. Especially Space Marines or humans. I mean, Space Marines or orcs, excuse me. I'd fucking love an excuse to do voice acting for that game. It's a lot of fun. You get to really be an edgelord. It's really great. Excuse me. Yeah, but that's really easy for me. I'm already pretty good at getting into the Protoss mindset. Yeah, absolutely. My idea of a good orc voice is like one that makes you, it brightens up your day, forces a smile onto your face because of how goofy they are. But the Space Marines are supposed to be like really fearsome. You know? They take themselves very seriously. And I like that. That's why it feels very liberating to do that. There's not really any other, there's really nothing quite like that, you know? The Protoss aren't really the same thing. In StarCraft, you don't really get an excuse to be super edgy. Unless maybe you're doing a ghost voiceover like Gaska. Yeah, but everybody dislikes the Dark Eldar in Warhammer. They're just stupid and pointless. Kind of similar to Tal'Darim, actually. Isn't it actually canon that the Emperor is, like, holding off the, is constantly, like, in a battle against the Chaos Gods or something? And that, like, thousands of Psykers are sacrificed to fuel the Emperor so that he can continue to hold off the Chaos Gods from entering into the universe or whatever the setting. That's pretty fucking insane. That's so ridiculous. That's the kind of ridiculous shit that started out as a self-parody and has now just been accepted. See, I had some sort of comment, some sort of idea about Warhammer as a whole, as a setting. And I think it's funny because there's so many things that you there's so many things in Warhammer that happen, and if they happened in any other setting, you would laugh at them. You'd be like, this is an insult to my intelligence. But in Warhammer, they're accepted almost. I think it's because the characters accept them too. It's not like, no character in Warhammer is ever like, are you kidding me? When something happens, they're just like, that is a threat and I must deal with it now, you know? Like, the Space Marines never look at like this insane plot that has orcs being led by Chaos or Eldar and doing something crazy. Like, they're never like, this beggars belief. They're just like, I accept that this is real and we must now combat this threat. It's never like, what the fuck? That's insane. So because the characters always take it in stride, the player themselves also seems to take it in stride. There was never a point where I was just like questioning how insane something was that happened until after like I had time to reflect on the events and think like, if that had happened in a StarCraft campaign, I would have lost my shit. Yeah, exactly. And it's a damn good thing that those Space Marines are fucking powerful and well trained, because if they weren't, everything would have been fucked. So you think the Emperor is actually a demon? A benevolent demon? Or just a demon with some... Huh. Well, the Chaos Gods are looked at as fairly malevolent. Well, the God Emperor is the one who's, like, allowing the universe to remain existing in its current state, right? I think it's always so funny how the Eldar are on this, like, high and mighty quest, and they're like, fuck these Space Marines, you know, or whatever. But when in reality, how is it that none of their Craft World's autarchs or Farseers ever gaze into some prophecy about how, hey, by the way, fucking the God Emperor, who may be a demon, is the only reason we're still alive, and the Chaos Gods haven't fucked everything up. Like, how do they not, how do they find themselves aligned against the Space Marines in that respect? They know that, and they still don't give a fuck, and they still want to fuck with the Space Marines? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, unless they're they're fighting against Space Marines who aren't advancing the good of the fucking, like, they aren't advancing the continued survival of the God Emperor or whatever. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's probably right. Aren't the Eldar supposed to be really, like, sort of like Protoss in a way where they're very, they're not very prolific, they're fairly, like, aren't their numbers die? Disconnect? Hello? Is anybody home? Well, nobody's freaking out about me being gone, so I'll assume I'm not gone. But maybe I still am. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that they were like having too much drugs and fornication or something. Well, yeah, that's the thing, is they keep talking about these really huge numbers because Warhammer 40,000 is, the scale of the universe is so immense. Oh shit. Well, now everything's a disaster. Murder fucked a god into existence. That's not good. That's not allowed. Yeah, I remember reading about that in one of the books. But the idea that the universe is so massive, like their setting... Hold on, I'm gonna kill the music for now. The idea that the galaxy, the setting of Warhammer 40,000 is so immense, and the scale is so massive, that 1,000 people a day, or more than 1,000 people a day, are sacrificed, and there's still enough birth, like the birth rate is still enough to support that for however long. That's insane. That's fucking crazy. Did they flip off death? Yeah, that's crazy too. The scale is pretty insane. It allows a lot of creative liberty. That's what one of the things I envy about the Warhammer 40,000 universe is that you can do basically anything you want. Here's what I say. In the manual for StarCraft 1, it's actually intimated that the setting is more like Warhammer, in a sense, where the Protoss Empire spans like hundreds of thousands of planets or something like that. Like at least thousands. They have like thousands of colonies. So that to me is kind of interesting. How they, I don't know why they wound up getting to the point where Ire is their only real planet, apparently. But presumably the scale of StarCraft's original story back in the first game, when the manual was written, is actually much larger than you'd be led to believe based on the single set of campaigns that were created for it. I still think it's fucking retarded that orc technology exists just because they believe, or it works, it functions just because they believe it. Like, that's so retarded to me. It's like a bunch of scraps that are like duct taped together are a gun or a tank. And they just believe it'll work, so it does. It's really goofy. Yeah, but honestly, that's like more compelling than the alternative would be, probably. Like, it's sort of like how the warp seems to exist in a similar sense to like that magic system that I was talking about earlier when I was showing you guys Anthelion, where you have like the magic that's like intrinsic in everything. The warp seems to be connected to everything. That's actually hilarious. But you have to truly believe it, though. Like, if you're aware of... It's funny, like, that could happen with humans, too. They could just be raised in some sort of cult that believed that... Like, that's really interesting, because like, a heretical religion could exist. It could come into belief. Like, you could have some guy who does doubt it, but he could raise other people to truly believe something, and they would make it happen. Or he could brainwash himself or something like that. Like that would be interesting. That's like an interesting psychological subplot. Or I guess not really subplot, but you know what I mean. A basis for a Warhammer 40,000 story. Like imagine they believe that they have like the power to, through their like very will, they can just kill things or something. I don't know, like incinerate something. They can, like, I don't know, you could have anything like that. The Legion of the Damned. I don't even know. Is that like a Space Marine Legion or something? Legions are what they call armies, right? That's what they're referred to as in the game world. I think I still have Warhammer 40,000 installed. So how does that work with the whatever it's called? Oh, here, hold that thought. I'm going to make sure that this is working. I'll turn my U off. That doesn't need to be here anymore. Rest in peace, U. Well, eventually this game will start. I don't know what the fuck is taking so long. There we go.
Sega.
Don't say Sega. I just want to put this cutscene on for the time, because it's actually some of the most phenomenal cinema I think I've seen to date. Like, just in general, I think this is a really, really fucking symbolic cutscene.
In darkness, I shall be light. In times of doubt, I shall keep faith. In throes of rage, I shall hone my craft. In vengeance, I shall have no mercy. In the midst of battle, I shall have no fear. In the face of death, I shall have no remorse.
That is fucking cinema, boys. There's some serious symbolism in that one, man. Cinema? Symbolma? I don't know. Well, the thing about orcs is, like... Right, so if this belief shit is true, the only thing that you need to have is, like, the ability to make thoughts happen, right? So your brain just needs to be intact for you to be a threat. But isn't the way that orcs reproduce, like, when they die, a bunch of spores release from their corpse? Isn't that real? So, like, they just release spores by existing, and then when they die, a whole bunch of them release. So it's not possible to get rid of them unless you just destroy the planet they're on. So how are there not a billion orcs in the warp now? Does the warp not allow for spores to survive or something? I guess that would be a reasonable explanation. Anyways. It's too bad they only made three races in this game. Maybe I don't know if there's going to be an expansion added to it. Why? What is that? That is so goofy. I'll play a game of this and then I'll probably end the stream. Oh, I forgot to set the difficulty to higher than casual. Oops. Yeah, but nope. I don't think Dawn of War 3 was well received. What the fuck is this? What is this? Oh, it's a turret?
Does it have to be me? Glitching on the slog? You want it built? Then get it built in. Rounding up a new mob of boys.
I think Dawn of War 2 is probably the worst.
New mob of boys is here. Huh? Boys will take it. What? Now? What? I wasn't doing that. Hey, Gretchins, watch yourselves. Boss, Gretchins are ready. More moving, less dying. You want it built? You get it built in. What?
Yeah, everybody was complaining that they the story had holy shit. That Gorguts was like, because he allied himself with the Eldar and the other guy. Nobody was happy with that or something.
What's here? I got it done. Here we go, Grots. Upgrading infantry damage. Nicked a resource point. Hey.
Don't say that.
What is it? Of course I know where I'm going.
Everybody, well, he was presented as a pretty intelligent guy. Wow, this shit takes fucking forever to make. To destroy, rather.
Right, okay.
Ah, shit. I need more boys. Boys. Oh, those are just scouts. I should be able to handle these guys.
Sounds like a dare. Requisition generator done. What's that?
What is... Oh. He put down the flag. I've never done that once.
Sounds like a dare. Small fire. Northeast of your position.
Well.
Power generator juiced up.
Huh? Is that a dare? Sounds like a dare.
All you need is glitching on the slot.
What? Get into you boys heading for war.
New mother boys is here.
I should probably get a walk tower.
You loyal? Here we go.
Oh, I don't have any fucking money.
What? Now? Gotcha, boss. We'll stop them on a dropper. This plan doesn't end with me dying, does it?
Your elite boys are ready to fight, boss. You just say the word. Small fight with the enemy. Northeast of your position.
Is that a dare? Sounds like a dare. Is it you boys heading for war?
Right, okay.
Oh shit! I didn't pay attention.
Now let's war. Yeah, boss. Following order. You bitch. You're dead. Reporting, boss.
Power generator juiced up. More moving, less dying. Grottle fasten that water.
Lay down the law of wheeling flossing. Rocky peg, go! Going in all. Enemy gets inside. Chopper sharp up, police. Double sneaky. Let's war.
That resource point is ours.
Boss. We'll fall on them like hammers, boss. We won't get lost. Boys will take it. Shout it. You said it.
Does it have to be me? Boss, you're going to be real. How about we go somewhere with no fighting? We got one of them elite point generators going.
So do it and do it all. What? Let's make a mess of it. Boots polished. Storm boys ready. Swing those choppers as you march. Firing rockets. Knock it down.
Fuck him up.
Kill the boys.
Yeah, we're almost done with that one.
Rounding up cross. Power generator juiced up.
Follow me.
Beginning infantry damage upgrade.
Talk. Yeah, boss.
Orcs are pretty funny, at least.
Big fight with the enemy. Southwest of your position.
What's that? You give it a foes topple before us.
Wait, did they repair it? Oh, never mind. It can't be attacked while it's, I don't know, something like that.
I don't know what you've been told.
Start upgrading.
Mighty bold.
What's here?
Do me hard. Let boys heading for war. That's a fancy gift. Rocket peg, go. Where to? Going already.
Power generator juiced up.
I wasn't doing nothing.
Upgraded infantry help.
Well, this AI is definitely pretty shit at what it's doing.
Just think of your position.
We got a walk.
Requisition generator done.
What's the job? Shooting other scrap for something nasty. Ready for chopping, lads. A poultry wound.
Me, as long as he ain't scared.
Jumping.
Roll, Reggie. You want it built? You get it
Boots
built.
polished. Storm boys ready. Firing rockets.
Yeah, I don't understand why they are so intent on making the different races, like, actually behave, like, cooperatively or whatever.
Lay down the law and we'll enforce it. What is? We'll do it with a bang. Got something I can shoot at now, do ya? Boots polished, storm boys ready.
It's probably just because they're... It definitely feels like this, at least this particular game's campaign, it feels like they definitely had some sort of a focus on...
You need me for something?
Trying to make it more accessible for the average person. So obviously they weren't going to... They were not going to have any success with trying to give it, for like the actual Warhammer fans. It probably was going to be fairly disappointing. How many of these do I need? 9?
We see the second phase of the war.
Got him, yeah! Lay down the law and we'll enforce it.
Requisition generator done.
Time to armor up. Shooting.
I don't know. Yeah, they should be able to deal with that. It's fine.
Both parts with your choppers, aye! We're part of the plan! Right?
Starting upgrade.
Come along, lads! Follow me! Enough to corpse! Got something in mind, boss? Report it, boss. Leaky! Nice. Heave-ho, lads! What's that? You're too slow! This bang doesn't end with me, guys, does it? Let's get more shooting!
We got more requisition than we even need! Love it!
We'll do it with a bang! What? Now? Chopper shot it! Got something I can shoot out now, do you? Spread it and leg it! I don't know what you've been told. Stormboy mobs is bloody full. Got something in mind, boss? Stop that! Let's get like to the boss up! We got sick bombs!
What the fuck?
What's the job, boss?
Alright, whatever.
Boots polished! Dagger from above! Rocky Pack, go! We're storming the leg it and spread it! You got
Yeah, Grimdark describes it pretty succinctly as well, I would say.
Got something I can shoot at now, do ya? Stormboy's doing.
Small fire happening northwest of your position.
No, they're fine. Just straight lies.
Does it have to be? What's on our way? Glitching on the slog. That resource point is ours. How high you want it, boss?
Boss, we won't get lost. We ain't no shots. We move out, boys.
What you gonna do with all this power, boss?
Oh yeah, I forgot to spend my money.
Rounding up shooters. Getting the truck reinforce upgrade. How about we go somewhere with no fight? A war tower. We'll build it sturdy.
Boots formation.
You look out. He's done.
What's the job, boss? None of you
Righto! Building a war truck.
down the law and wheel it forward.
They are trying to take a resource point.
What he says, yeah, dinner! I'll take it up! We're undertaking orders! Firing rockets!
New track is built. You can activate fire tower.
Yeah, boss! What is it? Moving in to take it!
Boss, we got shooter boys ready to get shooting.
Oh my god.
How about we spend some of this power?
What's that?
Got one out finished. Got the truck reinforced upgrade.
What?
Look at that death gun. That is ready.
To me. We'll use it for what he's shooting. We follow orders to the left. Rockets back. No. Shout. Give it a go. Boys heading for war.
What even is this fucking PowerPoint shit?
Your elite boys are ready to fight, boss. You just say the word.
Fall of them like hammers. Lay down the law and wheel it forth. Undertaking orders.
Small fight with the enemy. Just cease if your position. Rounding up nobs. Rounding up tank bastards.
Follow orders to the letter.
Power generator juiced up.
What's the job, boss? Lay down the law and wheel it forth.
We should find these tank bastards a tank to bust.
Tank bastards going.
New mob of nobs is here.
Polish! Storm boys ready! Something in mind, boss? What? Now? Let's get more champagne! Boss, is this fucking a quick music?
Nobs are here.
Something that needs a man.
Well, XD.
Your prayers are answered through me. What you need, bastard? Where's on that Gordon Swimming? Comply!
I did it.
We win! Parts out of fungus brew! We win!
What were you saying? You wish they had Titans? I'm surprised that the super units that they added in were the way that they were. Like, they had those Grey Knights or whatever the fuck, and then they had, obviously, the one that I was just using for the orcs. Well, I think they have other armies, though, don't they? Or they have other Titans? Maybe not. Yeah, not really. Well, we can't preview them here anyways. But yeah, it would be cool to have... I don't know, just a different take on Warhammer. Wasn't there some chess game or something that came out that was retarded? It was a different Warhammer game. I forget what it was. What the fuck is this? It's an action RPG? I have not heard of this at all. What the fuck? How many goddamn games do they make for this series? Jesus Christ. What's it called? Martyr?
For 10,000 years, the Emperor's Inquisition have fought a secret war to defend humanity. We keep vigil in the darkness. We hunt among the shadows. We pass judgment upon the mutant, the traitor, and the heretic. We purge the world of the taint lurking among the stars. We are Inquisitors. We shall fear nothing. For we are what you fear.
I've literally never heard of it. It's an early access game. Complex multi-layered ARPG. About 6 months of early access. Started in August. Okay, I want to say that this this note here, I wish every developer was like this, but there's no incentive for buying early, and it's just to help them out. So I actually really like this. Seems like a team that actually would like to, I would like to support it if this is actually the real fucking like mission statement or whatever. Because a lot of people are, a lot of developers that I've seen are really fucking fucked up when it comes to incentivizing people to buy their game or do anything. It looks like a Diablo style game or something. Explore the star map of the vast Caligari sector, different subsectors, immense amount of solar systems, growing number of unique points of interest. Solo or assemble a team of up to 4 people. This seems like a pretty fucking cool game. Are you talking about the movie, or are you talking about this game? About pre-Horus Heresy? No story currently. Yeah, so I would never buy an early access game, generally speaking, but we'll have to see about that. What's the trailer called? I'll watch that before we go. Death of Hope. Oh, here it is. Yeah, no shit. It's a Warhammer fucking film. Get out of here. Since the battle at Calth, the sons of Angron and Lorgar launched a bloody something, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't read it. Text is retarded in a fucking film. Get on with it.
They will answer for this.
They were my brothers, but no longer.
Don't let them kill my baby!
Your fight is with me, traitor. War dog! Come on, then, Gilliman's little curs.
I think they still need a lot of sound effects. They're missing some things.
Take me from my home, and I will sail to the stars of your empire. I will serve as a son must serve. But let Kulkis stand as I have shaped it. A planet of peace and prosperity.
I will kill you where you stand, loyalist scum. Come, meet your death, cousins.
So there's like a chaos subplot going on here, or? Oh, okay. Warhammer 30K, I see. Traitors. Traitorous scum. All right, well, I think it's probably a good time for me to get out of here. Skedaddle. Was a pleasure, gentlemen. Don't know what this week's going to hold. Going to be pretty busy with work. Probably not likely that Hydra makes its January 6th release date, but it shouldn't take much longer than the month of January in general. Hopefully I can work with it alongside my brother's birthday project, which will take precedence after the end of this coming week. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think that's probably everything. I will see you guys sometime soon. Big smoochies. Mwah, mwah. Have a happy new year.
Thanks for tuning in, and have a wonderful evening. See you next year.